Hello, this is Patricia Brooks, and this is Courage Concept number 21. If we don't know, we can ask. We get what comes our way by chance. Recently, I was on a date at a Greek restaurant. It was a first date, and I was excited to see where this might lead. The restaurant had wonderful entertainment. They had dancers and singers, and I even got on the dance floor at one point. But the food was not so good, and the service was not good at all either. I ordered the pork Slovakia, and that is meat that is skewered on a stick, and it's supposed to be nice and juicy. Well, after a long wait, what arrived at my table was very dry, very chewy. To me, it was inedible. And so I ate around it. I had the fries, I had the pita bread, I had the tomatoes that accompanied it, but I didn't eat any more of the meat because I just couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to eat it. It was just that bad. My date had ordered the pasta, and he was across the table from me, and he was eating, and he tried a little bit of my meat because he was curious. And I complained at that point that it was too dry for me to eat. And he said, yeah, you've got a point. And then he went back to eating his pasta. Now, the waiter was really busy. It was jam-packed, and we couldn't get his attention. And so I sat there as my date ate, and I watched the entertainment. So at the end of the meal, when my date was finished, he looked over at my plate and realized that, I hadn't eaten my main course. And he said, you're not going to eat that? And I said, it's too dry. I just can't eat it. And he couldn't seem to understand that it was inedible to me. So he reached over and took another piece, and he's like, yeah, it is really pretty dry. But he says, I hate to waste it. You're not going to eat it? And I said, no. And so he reached over and he squirted lemon juice on it, and he proceeded to eat the rest of my Slovakia. And I was a little bit surprised because to me, it was not something that I felt like we should pay for or should be eaten. But I respected his desire not to waste, and that was fine. However, he did eat the evidence that I was going to show the waiter at the end of the meal, saying, hey, is the Slovakia always this dry here? And pointed out to him. So my argument didn't have much weight when the plate was empty. This goes to courage concept number 21. If we don't know, we can ask. We get what comes our way by chance. I am quite aware that I could ask, and I was planning on doing that, but my dates didn't seem to realize that we had an option. And so his option was just to eat the food. And it made me realize that our upbringing and our life perspective, and even the schooling and training that we have gives us the idea of whether or not we can ask for something different or better, or whether we feel we have to settle for something. And it's a powerful concept because once you recognize that you can ask for something different, something better, then you can change the course of the situation. Now, sometimes you can ask for something and the request is not granted, but you haven't lost anything in the process. This concept goes to the catalyst for cultivating courage, that is shifting your perspective, because once you're aware that you can ask for something different, then you can ask and many times receive something different and not have to settle for what comes your way by chance. Now, I know that you have probably had many experiences in your life where you have not been satisfied with a situation. So the questions that I'm going to ask you that will help you to use this concept in your everyday life are as follows. Question number 1. Think back to a time when you settled for something and you weren't happy with that. I'd like for you to write that situation down. Question number 2 is, as you were settling for this situation, were you conscious of the fact that you were taking something that was less than you felt you deserved or should have? Or was it something that you didn't recognize that you could even change? So were you conscious of it or not? Yes or no? And then question number 3 is, going forward, the next time that you find yourself in a situation that you're not satisfied with, what questions can you ask yourself that will help to raise your consciousness that you do have the ability to ask for something different or something better? Now, questions similar to, am I happy with what I am receiving right now? And if the answer is no, that's a trigger for you to say, well, what would make me happy? How could I make that possible? How could I ask for that? So that's an example, but there could be other questions that you might be better triggers for you to help raise that awareness that you do have the power to ask for something different, something better. That's courage concept number 21. If we don't know, we can ask. We get what comes our way by chance. That's all I have for you today. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.